Hi everyone, welcome to the Ravit Show. We are here at Big Data London. It's day one, and look who are with me. Yanay, who's the CMO at Bright Data. Yanay, welcome to the Ravit Show. It's your debut.
Thanks, it's great to be here.
Yanay, quick question for you. What do you do at Bright Data? And tell us a little bit about your role as well.
I run marketing for Bright Data. We're the largest web data infrastructure for BI and AI. That means that we do data sets in scale of different formats, different languages, different delivery methods
Yep.
for BI and AI operations, AI apps, LLMs, um, vertical specific AI, and we also do browsing infrastructure for AI agents to be able to go out to the web and do what they need to be doing without getting blocked.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm going to jump right into the big picture. How are public web data and AI changing the marketing today? Can you share a little bit about that?
Right. So I think it's a big question because the easiest way for me to explain that is to ask is have you been around in the 90s? How old are you?
I've been a
You've
little
been
bit
around.
there.
Okay,
Yeah.
don't give it away. But if you remember having an argument or conversation in the 90s, let's say a bunch of people are sitting down and one person would say, I heard that there's maybe 1 million bees left in the world and they're all going to go extinct. Then another person might say, well, that doesn't sound right. And it would get into some sort of a conversation about everybody would try to kind of muster up some memory that they have and try to convince you about their rationale. But you didn't have immediate access to data, and so if you disagreed, you just have to disagree,
Exactly.
This is completely different today, specifically with marketing, where the challenge is now not actually acquiring the data to answer the questions that you need to ask. It's about asking the right questions. And so that became the biggest challenge for organizations, and at least that's what we're seeing from customers that come in all kinds of disciplines, from product to marketing, from engineering. And the more specific, the more crystallized, the more articulate, the more precise the question, the better the impact will have from the data to be collected.
Right. Very insightful, and good example as well that you took us back in 90s, and obviously the data perspective was different back then, and it can be very different right now. Kind of also curious to learn how, first of all, what blind spots do you see teams have, and how is Bright Data fixing that?
Right. So I think talking about AI is kind of funny because everything is going to be AI. So we're just in this small interim period where things that are not natively AI will become that, and many industries are now getting, let's say, many industries are being disrupted. And any player in an existing category, these guys will have to kind of reinvent themselves, their product, their offering. So we see that from the data perspective.
Yep.
And I think the bottom line of what's happening is agentic is going to change most of the applications across the board.
Yep.
And when we say agentic, it means going out of the experience of having a conversation with an LLM in a capsuled frame and having the LLM actually go and do stuff for you. So when they have to do stuff for you, it's broken down into two different things. They either go and do stuff for you internally in the organization. I don't know, schedule a calendar, invite for you, or send you a Slack message, etc. And then you just work with internally the data that the organization has. But the second part is doing things outside on the web in scale, right? And this is where we come in. And so what we found is, we didn't plan for it. What we found is that when agents need to do stuff for people in scale, essentially agents are bots. And most websites currently have a lot of different mechanisms to kind of make sure that the bots don't do whatever they need to be doing historically for different reasons. And agents are only as good as the actions that they're actually able to execute for us, for the customers, right? And so luckily, in the past 10 years, we've been developing infrastructure for bots to be able to access the web and scale, to do what they need to be doing. And so this is perfect for agents. And what we're seeing now is agents from every different industry using our infrastructure in order to kind of go out and scale and communicate back the data that is needed, discover, explore, extract, and bring the data back. Um, so the agent is now successful.
Yep.
Right? And in many cases, we see that's the difference between an agent that ends with an error. I couldn't do what I was supposed to be doing. Not because it's not smart enough, not because it can't think about what it needs to be doing. It's just because the last mile, we call it, and going
True.
out to the web and doing what it's supposed to be doing, there was a failure there. So what we've done there is kind of like I see it as kind of like an elevation of the whole agentic industry,
Yep.
which is to launch our own MCP server.
Nice.
We call it the web MCP because it literally is one endpoint that you will ever need to access out to the web in scale. So anybody building an agent
Nice.
that knows the agent will need to go out to the web and do something, search for stuff, collect data, etc., interact with the website.
Yep.
There's only one MCP to be used, which is the web MCP. It's actually free for a pretty nice tier, so you could use it kind of forever and never have those issues again. It's just one more thing to tick off your issues, your list of issues when you need to make your agent work.
Love it. Just a follow-up question here. And where do you see Bright Data drive the most lift? Is it the ad spend, the ROI, the research? Where does it all go?
Oh, so think of using web data in marketing. Specifically, you're asking about marketing. So think about using web data in marketing as your own agent going out to the web and collecting all of the information that's out there that can give you an answer. For example, I just ran a campaign, I just bought a media campaign with those particular publishers, and I want to make sure that my banners are actually showing where they're supposed to be showing in the scales they're supposed to be doing. How can I do that? I can refresh the website and look at it and kind of anecdotally try to figure that out. But there's methodical ways of sending bots to actually look at the ads that I bought being shown and give me a complete picture. Or if I'm a product marketing leader or a product leader and I want to ask deep questions like, what are my competitors' customers think about me and the differences between my product and theirs, and how do they feel about my brand? Those are important questions to answer, and they are easily now translatable into web data queries. So go to these specific online communities, social networks, websites, blogs, whatever, and collect all of that data. And now the last step actually with AI has been even evolved even further, where you can collect the data using web data, Bright Data or any other data collection solution, and kind of throw it into an LLM that will then digest it and spit out the most specific, most accurate question based on real live data, which I think is a game changer for marketeers, because all of a sudden you don't need hordes of junior marketing analysts and interns to go out and fetch that information and then to analyze it for you. You can literally do it in a few simple steps and make your connection to the market a much stronger one. Obviously, we do it at Bright Data because we like to drink our own Kool-Aid, but we're seeing it more and more in companies that are really hyper-growth oriented.
Yeah, I see a good competitive intelligence kind of playing an important role here as well. But that brings me to another very important topic, which is Gen AI in practice. How does public web data power smarter assistants and research workflows end to end? Do you have any thoughts around that, Yanay?
Yeah, so LLM, think about it as the brain, and it has, every LLM has three different elements that will make it a success or not. So the first element is the algorithm or the talent behind those, so the smart people building the algorithms.
Right.
The second element, so that's people, right? And we're hearing everywhere about people getting crazy offers to move between companies. That's how important the brain is, the algorithms are, the initial ones. The second part is the compute power, the chips. So we're hearing a lot of kind of noise about the companies trying to compete and trying to produce enough computing power in order to run these algorithms. The third part is once you have the right algorithms and they have enough capacity to run, they have to get as much information, much data as possible in order to kind of teach them on a specific vertical or in general, if it's a large LLM. And without that data, there will always be they will never they will never kind of maximize the potential that the LLM has, and that's where we meet them, where they say, it depends whether it's a large LLM that says, just give me all the data that you want, and we're talking public web data, of course, data that is public, it's not behind a login, it's for everybody to use, but LLMs need it in scale. So it's either general data and as much of it as possible, or it could be specifics. So for example, if you're talking about data, let's say LLMs that are about generating videos. So in order to generate an amazing video, you have to see all the videos that were created up until now.
Yep.
All the way, or another example is audio. I saw a bunch of cool AI lately that can create songs for you or kind of improve your songs that you already kind of created. And I'm a musician, so I like that. But it needs to know of all the songs that ever existed in order to break them apart and kind of rebuild them. And the newest thing that we're seeing now is about robotics. So very quickly, and I'm not any expert on the robotics area, but I can tell you from the data vendor perspective, I think in 3 to 5 years, pretty much most of us in the Western world will have humanoids working in our houses, doing stuff for us, from cleaning and cooking and doing the dishes to any other activities in the home. And those are going to be visual perceptive humanoids, robots, right? So they'll have to figure out their surroundings and do it well. So if you have, let's take one example, if you have a robot that is about cleaning the dishes and taking out the laundry after you kind of have fun in the kitchen, they need to be trained on as much video of actual people cleaning the dishes and taking out the trash and seeing actually where they made mistakes so they can avoid them as well. So specific robotics and specific LLMs would need specific types of data, and that's what we're seeing as the largest data vendor in the world for these models. That's what we're seeing coming through. So it started with last year with give me all of the data that you have, to very specific types of data, audio data, textual data, image data, video data, in different languages with different scenarios. So this is where we're going.
Yeah, I love it. I love the example. I love how you've kind of, broke down the details as well. And a quick question for you around a little bit about the future. How do you see, I'm not even going to ask you a future that is like 12 to 24 months, maybe just in next 3 to 6 months. Where do you see the space moving for web public data, but also those who are using Bright Data? How is it going to help them move faster in their, not only just in their workflows, but using agents, getting the marketers getting the data very quickly and very streamlined? How will it all work?
So we started about 10 years ago as a data collection company with infrastructure, what the industry is known as proxy networks and unlocking solutions. We're seeing more and more customers, and we have about 20,000 customers, so it's a good sample of the market. More and more are kind of going up the value chain and leaving the infrastructure. They don't want to deal with proxies anymore. They don't want to deal with building their own scrapers, and we've kind of helped them move to the world of API first. And so the future is probably just defining the right API, quickly creating it in some sort of a vibe scraping type of way that works, and having that API immediately push the data. That's on the, let's say, larger company side. And agentic, and we have, we see millions of agents coming in every month, actually. New agents coming live. That's about, the simple solution to connect you to the web and not having to worry about it. Like I mentioned with the MCP, could be Bright Data's MCP or any other MCP that solves that last mile, that web access need. So everybody's going up to less headache about the things that are already problems that are solved. And I think that's the main message that I've been kind of seeing lately. Web data and data acquisition is a solved problem. It's just about kind of figuring out what you need and then having the least amount of effort solution that you integrate within your stack. And then never worry about it again.
Yeah, I love it. I love these insights, and I will keep the conversation going, but such a pleasure to have you on the Ravit Show and discuss so many different things. One last question for you. Promise this is the last one. If people want to reach out to you, learn more about Bright Data, which is the best place to do that? Yeah,
obviously the homepage. We got an easy kind of figuring out what you need type of workflow. Brightdata.com.
Okay, and they can connect with you on LinkedIn, I guess.
Obviously, with pleasure.
Awesome. All right, everyone. You can connect with Yanay on LinkedIn and catch up all the things Bright Data is doing on their website, and I'll share a link. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thanks, Yanay.
Thanks.